8 out of 10. That is what Wilds is. It's an 8 out of 10. Amazing, solid game. Now, this is just that's not my rating per se. Like, this is just a rating that I would choose for the game if I had to pick without bias, because I give it a 9 out of 10. But it is a solid 8 out of 10. Now, why is it not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? I will explain that. This is going to be a short review on the game, I guess you could say. I'm not going to go over it necessarily everything, but everything that I think is noteworthy to talk about. Will this video contain spoilers? No, it will not contain spoilers to the story, so you have nothing to worry about that at all. Now, monsters, I want to say kind of no as well, because at this point, I mean, technically, in a sense, I feel as if everybody knows who the monsters are. Maybe not the final monster, but everybody knows, like, the rest relatively, because a lot of people show stuff on, like, you know, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, so you've probably already seen it by now. But no story stuff. You have nothing to worry about there. Alright, but let's begin. First, combat. Now, how I feel about combat in this game, I think it is very fun. Hunting monsters feels great. It feels amazing. It feels awesome. The wound system is, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is not a criticism, but it's OD. I'm not gonna, it's really broken. I'm not gonna, whenever you do it, you stagger them like crazy in this game. Like, they can't do anything. You feel like a god. If I'm being so honest with you, it is insane. Literally insane. Like, the fact that you can wound them, smack them out, stop any animation they're doing. Like, if they're flying away, nope. You're going somewhere, nope. It's really good. It's fun, really good. But man, like, it's kind of too strong, I feel as if. But it's really fun. And another thing that is really fun that is also really strong is the offset attacks, which I think are incredible moves. I didn't show it in the footage, I believe, but there's essentially like a free attack. Essentially, if you counter the monster at the right time, you can just say, get off of me, and then you get a follow-up attack, whatever your strongest move is. You can mix it up or whatever, depending on your weapon. Really good. There's also the power clash too, depending on how much you block the monster. You'll have like an anime clash, and then you'll just punch them off of you. There's no really way to fail that if you just don't press triangle or the attack button. So you're always going to get that, which is, you know, cool. Now, talking about weapons, I feel as if a lot of them have actually gotten a lot of love. Not every single weapon got the same amount of love, but a good chunk of them did. Like, for example, I don't use hammer at all. Like, I've dabbled with it in like the past, maybe in like I want to say like Generations in 4 and maybe a few times in 3, but I didn't really try it too much more because I thought it was boring. Rise, it had some cool hammers, so I used them relatively, and I'm like, okay, this is a bit more of an improvement. This game kind of nails hammer just right, and I feel as if the reason why it does that is because you can do any combo into spinning swing. Like, what are we talking about, brother? Like, that's like the coolest thing ever. So it's very easy to get a KO, and the timing on it just feels perfect in this game. Like, I don't know what it is, but hammer, I think it's up there with Greatsword. How, like, you know, like big strong Chad meme, it's like that. Like, I think hammer actually has a step up, and it's actually a part of the cool kids now, because before I thought it was lame. I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought it was lame. Now it's actually sick. And for a person like me who didn't even care about hammer to think it's cool, that is a step up. Because the only reason why I wanted to even try it too in this game, because there was a hammer that looked like an axe. I'm like, okay, I gotta use it, bro. It looks kind of cool. And then, like, the freaking gameplay was awesome. So I'm like, okay, this is sick, dude. I'm actually gonna be using hammer in this game specifically. It's not gonna be a main or anything, because Sword and Shield forever, baby, and Great Sword. But, you know, it's gonna be it's pretty nice. So I think that's definitely a huge step up. Now, talking about monsters in combat specifically, I think this is where they kind of messed up here. Do I feel as if monsters are fun to fight? Yes. But do I think, are they too easy? Abso-freaking-lutely. I think this game, I don't know what it is, like, they just turned down the difficulty for monsters. Like, it feels like nothing. They're a little too fair, I feel as if the monsters give you enough space to do what you need to do to mess them up. Like, you can stagger them a whole bunch of times with the wounded system, which I do like, but it's just like, I can just mess them up, break their legs, offset them, counter them. There's even a perfect pair for weapons that have a shield. There's even a perfect dodge for some weapons that I forgot to mention too. So it's like, what are they supposed to do? It's like, for instance, for example, how Rise did it. You had special moves, right? But the monsters also had special moves to counter that, so it's like a clash and clash, so it was even, relatively. In this game, you have new tech. They don't have any new tech. They're just the same. So you're just beating up an old monster that, well, even new monsters, that just can't really do anything crazy. So I think that's the main problem with this game, is that the hunters are too broken. Like, we're overpowered, brother. Like, it feels fun hunting them, but it's like, is there a challenge? And I don't want them to go the route of, like, Monster Hunter World, where it's like, okay, let's do a DPS check then to make it hard. Don't do that. Just make them actually stronger. Like, literally. Like, make them either hit harder, give them moves to actually do something, because I feel as if this is probably the easiest Monster Hunter game I have played, literally. And that's kind of sad to say, because I feel as if the whole part of monsters, how like at least newer players too see it, is like they are bosses, right? So why are the bosses freaking the deacons of the deep, bro, of the game? Like what are we doing here, brother? Like they're the easiest things ever, and I think they need to toughen them up or something, because this doesn't feel like a challenge, and that's kind of sad to say, because I feel as if the monster designs are really good in this game. But yeah, and I'm about to talk about that actually now, because the next section is the monsters. Now the monsters in this game are infinitely better than the worlds in World. Like I don't think that's non-negotiable, brother. Like you can argue Rise and freaking Wilds, like which monsters you like more, because I feel like the monster designs in Rise was spectacular, and like, you know, it wasn't just wyvern either. And in this game, they actually mix it up too, adding different types of species as well, like a new species like the octopus ones. I forget their name, but that's a cool thing to do too. So I feel as if when it comes to monster designs, how they act, how they looked, it is freaking cool. Like I cannot say that enough. Like, dude, the cover boy of the game, Arkveld, I'm not gonna lie, bro. He is probably one of the coolest monsters I've seen in a very long time, and he is not even an Elder Dragon, which is blowing my mind. It is insane. It is insane. The fact that he's a flying wyvern, bro, like his design is so sick. Freaking Jin Dahad is so freaking cool, dude. Like, brother, I think he might be like a highlight for most people. Definitely new Udra, I think that's how you say his name. Utaduna, Ray Dow. They are so cool, and I like how they're doing it with these 4 monsters of the Apex. They kind of remind me in a way of the Fated 4, how they represent each element. One of them represents water, one of them represents fire, one of them represents ice, and one of them represents lightning, which is very interesting. So I'm wondering if they're hinting at the Fated 4, because Mitsune is the first monster they're going to be adding to the game, like a free update. So I'm like, I wonder if they're going to add all of them. Like, Gem, will she actually return finally? I don't know. But every monster in this game is designed, like, if you don't like their design, brother, you're like, man, World was better. Like, I don't know who you are, bro, but you don't know how to cook, bro. There's no season. You know how to season your food, because they definitely season the monsters in this game. They're all unique. They all do cool stuff. They all look so freaking cool compared to Worlds. Rise looked good too as well. And I'm just talking base game, by the way. This is all base game for each game. I think who takes the cake here, it probably has to be Wild, actually, I want to say, then Rise, then World when it comes to the newer games out of the franchise. Because boy howdy, buddy, like the octopus people, they're just ridiculous, and the fact they're adding Leviathans back is really cool. But I will say, I gotta say this, I actually have to take 1 point away from my personal review, because they didn't add one monster that they should have added, which is Lagiacrus. It's the most requested monster, and they have his body type in the game, literally, because Jin has his exact body type. So I'm like, what the freak? Why is he not in the game? He's the most requested monster, literally, in the franchise to be added. Like Gora, he showed up in Rise. Okay, so he's here. That's fine. Lagiacrus, brother, if I'm being honest with you, he's literally the most requested monster in the franchise to be added in the series, and he's not back yet. Like, they're saving him for DLC, bro. They're saving him for freaking Monster Hunter Wilds, freaking Doomsday, or whatever they're gonna call it. I don't know, because the fact that he's not here is baffling to me. It's really baffling. Now, speaking of weapons and armor, they knocked it out of the park with this one. There's no chicken bone and a piece of monster meat there. Like, they're not doing any of that whack stuff, which I very much appreciate, because that was a World original. Let's keep it in World. And they killed it with the armor sets. They killed it with the weapon pieces. They are awesome. I like them a lot. But the one thing that they did not kill is actually the decoration system. They completely and utterly butchered my boy. Like, the system to put the decoration slots is really bad in this game. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in any monster game. Because you can only put certain pieces on certain parts now. Like, for instance, attack cannot go on any armor slot. I don't know why they did this, but it makes it extremely harder to make builds now. I don't know why they did. Like, the creativity, kind of gone for that. I hope they fix that for like the expansion pass or whatever they're gonna do, because this is abysmal. The fact that I cannot put attack on an armor piece is weird. The fact that I cannot put handicraft on my pants is weird. It's only certain things, because another thing too, how come I can put weakness exploit on my helmet but not on the weapon? What? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I feel as if they need to just change that back real fast. The next section and last section I want to talk about is going to be the overall world, which will mention the story and a few other things that I think are just noteworthy to mention. So, talking about the story without spoilers, if I have to give it a rating, I give it a 5 out of 10. It's like average at best. It's not really anything crazy to talk about. The only thing that interests me relatively was the Arkveld stuff, but that is essentially it. And I think the reason why it's so bad is because it forces you to just play on autopilot mode, like be on your phone, because they make you do walking sections the majority of the game. If I'm being honest with the story, this is just a walking section. So I'm either on my phone or holding L2, pressing circle, collecting stuff around me, and that is it. And then I hunt a monster, I get a little free time until I have to do the quest, or just do the quest whenever I want to, do it, do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, which is very much not fun. But I think another highlight of the game, in a way of the early game, which is really bad, is like teaching players, which a YouTuber by the name of SCXCR mentions, and I'm gonna leave his video in the description below if you want to watch his Monster Hunter Wilds review, is that they do things backwards. Like, for instance, in the beginning of the game, you hunt a large monster, then you do a gathering quest, then you hunt a small monster. Now, in the older games, which he mentioned too as well, you do hunt a small monster first, or do your gathering quest first, relatively, then you hunt a large monster. So, for players that are just, actually this is their first monster in the game, for me, I beat up Chidacopper because I know what I'm doing. For them, it's gonna be probably a bit more hard, you know what I'm saying? So I think they did it really butt backwards here. I think they should have focused on that, but I think they want to just get more to the action of the game, which is really odd to me, because if they wanted to get newer players in the game, why would you make them fight a large monster first? Sure, that might be intriguing to them, but do they even know how to swing their weapon properly? Like, sure, there's the barrel for sure out like on the side, but they don't really get the system yet, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was like a poor way to show new players how to play the game. It's just like, hey, here's a large monster. What if they get cooked? Like, I'm sure there's a bit of tutorials to help you out a bit, but what if they just get cooked? You know what I'm saying? But yeah. But the next section I want to talk about here is actually food, and how food in this game, I don't really mind that it's like not a big animation, but I feel as if a lot of people do mind it's a big animation. I think that's something noteworthy to talk about, because the only way to get like a full course meal thing is by the villages saying, hey, we want to cook for you, essentially, and that happens in random intervals, so you can't really control that. And I see why, because the buffs that you get for the food is insane, but it's just that's kind of lame in a way, in my opinion, how they went about it, because I get they're going for an immersive thing, like you're on the go, I'm gonna make a quick meal by myself, like I'm a true hunter, you know what I'm saying? But brother, my sick rat has a auto move, bro. I don't even control him. I'm on my phone. What are we doing? Yeah, like I feel as if like it's kind of like a mixture between both. You know what I'm saying? Like there's immersive, then non-immersive. They're kind of picking and choosing here, and maybe that's a bit of a nitpick here and there. But like I said, I don't really care about the food like that too much, like everybody else, because I don't really skip the animation back in the older games. So you know, I didn't mind it. But I'm just saying for the people that did, like, you know, they could have did that. Or maybe, you know, make more the food things for the villages frequent, because I feel as if maybe not even most people even know about them, because they kind of just tell you on the map, like, hey, if someone wants to eat you, it's like, okay, but I'm hunting. You don't even notice it. And they don't even tell you when it goes away. So when I go there, and like, okay, like after my hunt immediately, it just disappears when I'm there. I'm like, wait, what? So no, that's also not a thing. That's not cool. Another thing that is not cool is when I want to go turn in a side quest, which they do have, and they are in a building and I can't enter it and I have to wait until they get out of the building. Bro, why is this in the game? Talking about the locales here, I think the locations are absolutely amazing. I think the Scarlet Forest is by far the prettiest, and this is not an argument. Like, I don't care what you say. The Scarlet Forest is probably the most prettiest, amazingest map ever in this game. I think it's the coolest one. I think the Windward Plains is cool. I think the Oil Well Basin, surprisingly, I didn't think I would like it that much, but I dig it. I think I'll give it like number 2 slot. Number 3 would probably be Windward Plains. Last would be the snow area, honestly. I feel as if, and I'm not going to mention the other map because, you know, just in case you want to know about it. And then there is the Wounded or Hallowed Ground or something like that, I think it's called. And I don't know the reason. I think it's the arena map for sure, but I don't know why it's in the game. There's no arena quest, so I see no point of it, like, at all. So I kind of like don't really care about it whatsoever. So it's like, it's kind of just there, but it's like, I'm not gonna go there, like, at all. So yeah. I think the environments are pretty cool. The epidemic life, or endemic life is really amazing in the game too. Like all of that feels good. I feel as if they got a little bit inspired with Rise, a little bit in certain locales too. There's nothing really I can complain about just the world in general because it looks amazing. It's good. It's something that Rise lacked and World obviously started, so the box is checked, I guess you could say. But that is essentially my review on Monster Hunter Wilds. I hope I didn't come off as too harsh, because I know I was a bit harsh there, but I think it's like tough love, because I think the things I'm talking about, I just wanted them to fix because I'm really passionate about the game and I want it to be the best it can be, because I think most of the things I've said, I think a lot of people would agree with. But if you didn't, let me know down in the comment section. But if you did, let me know what you think too, if you liked what I said. If you didn't, I appreciate you nonetheless for just clicking on this video, even if you clicked for a second, man. That's pretty cool. And I hope you have a great day, a great night, a great noon, or whatever time zone you live at, man. And I'll see you guys on the next video.